like my account was Maskaxda Healing when we met through, is it Hoda? I think it was Hoda, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is my personal account, but I met you on Maskaxda Healing one. But I was going to say welcome. Thank you for, giving the space to answer any questions. And actually I was telling about your the AI self-help, right? So if you can also explain that for us tonight, that would be amazing. Thank you.
Yes, no, thank you so much for bringing it up. That's one of the things is, I am a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner, which is a lot of words to say that pretty much I'm a psychiatrist, but I went the nursing route rather than the medical route. So I prescribe and do therapy. But what she's mentioning is I've also developed a tool to help people that maybe haven't taken the step yet to get a therapist or whatever. It's called the Dean of Zen, and it is an AI coaching app that gives people coping skills and helps them through any crisis they have. So I've taken the years of experience, and obviously it's not therapy, it's coaching and education, but you can ask the app anything and it will walk you through step by step what to do to overcome anxiety, overcome stress, overcome, just about anything. I spent like 10 hours. Actually, me and my wife, Rashida, she's a life coach also. I spent a long time giving it what I would give to a client, and then all the assignments that I've ever given people are uploaded, and it will react in a pretty amazing way. It was also designed to not go out into Chat GPT. You'll hear sometimes about AI hallucinations, and the AI will say things it shouldn't. It's only programmed to go within the context of what, as a professional, I trained it to do. So thank you so much for bringing that up.
Yes, thank you for explaining. It is one thing I was very excited to learn about, because it had a lot of good mix of DBT and CBT skills of, how can you cope? I think we even asked, like, the circle of control is one that has helped me a lot when I was going through my trauma flashbacks and nightmares. So that was a good one to explore.
Nice. Good. Haye Siham, maadaama turjumaan isticmaalayna mise Ingiriiska lagu wadaya dadka qaar in loo turjumaanay rabaan.
Okay, abaya u turjumaanaysa dib malan wixii waa isla qabanaynaa insha Allah bil kareem, and dib malahan wixii on markaasito dadku waxa u malaynaya ha soo qoraan ummadda halkan ku jirto luqadda ma fahmaysaan wiilkan wuxuu ku hadlayo mise maxaa la dhahay waan turjumaanaa sayda macsantiin.
Okay, soo qora qofka turjumaan u baahan iyo qofkii mataqaana siisa in lagu wadayo luqadda Ingiriiska lagu wadayo soo qora.
Anigu waxay noqonaysaa mataqaana abo idriso inaa qof kale oo xogaa ibdal waayo waxa waaye xogaa halkanan gacmaha xogaa busy aan noqonayaa waxay xogaa yar ka bacdi waa in la joogaya laakiin xogaa busy aan noqonayaa buuqana inaan ku furo ma rabo meel buuqan galaya xogaa marka cunug yarna waa haystaa xoogaa marka xaaladeyda waa iska shaqay ugu tahay.
Dhib leh.
Marka waa in la joogaa laakiin insha Allah qofka wuxuu soo qoray Somali aan u baahanahay. I can understand. Noo soo qora insha Allah. And abayo marka dasna waxaan ka codsadaa daarto. I asked us earlier if we could actually kind of talk about a little bit about what is mental health and mental illness. Sometimes people don't understand that, and kind of going over that and how could he help, what it is that, anything related to mental health. He's right here. He's going to go over, and also at the end of the session or the end of the conversation, he's going to give you guys how to see the all then.
Okay.
And so all how are you gonna reach out? How are you gonna connect with him? And yeah. So
go ahead.
Yeah. Did you want me to kind of go over? I know Siham had asked me to kind of explain the difference between mental health and mental illness, and do you want me to touch base there, or was there other questions that you guys wanted me to answer?
Yeah. I think for that, you can go ahead and briefly explain because there is a stigma around in our culture. And I think I explained it last time too. Like mental illness is maskaxdaada dhibaato markay ay gaarto. But mental health in general, waxa waaye caafimaadka maskaxda. So anagoo dhan caafimaadkeena maskaxda inaan ka hadalno waan u baahannahay. Like in Soomaalida mental health markay qasho waxay u malaynaysaa mental illness qofkaas inuu maskaxda xanuunka qabo. So labadaas waa inaan kala baranaa. Like maxayda qof kasta maskaxda daryeelka haddaad maskaxdaada daryeelin maskaxdaada iyo jirkaada way isku xiran yihiin. Dhibaatada maskaxda haddaad qabtid jirkaadana way ka muuqaneen. So yeah, and you can add. I just explained the difference.
Sure. Yeah. Explain to us between those two.
Yeah. So how I like to always kind of like phrase it is, you know, there is so many stigmas with mental health in our community and you know across the board in a lot of communities, but I know especially some of the stereotypes that go with mental illness and that sort of thing. What I like to go back to is like really mental health is something that we all have to address every day. Okay, mental illness is like something that there's maybe a brain chemistry imbalance or there's you know major trauma or those things. Mental health is what every day we have to wake up because our brain, like the base state of our brain is fight or flight. Our brain's job is to keep us alive. So it's always identifying threats, right? It's always looking at what's going to hurt us. Okay, that's the natural state. That's not your brain doing something bad. It's actually how it functions. We actually have to train it to see the good. So really what mental health is all about is trying to get our brain in shape, I like to call it. Trying to process things through the good things in our life. Now, it's very tough at this point in time with all the bad things that are going on because your mind only wants to ruminate about, you know, and especially with media and social media and all these things we see over and over. It's good to be aware, but when you're continually subjecting yourself to things that you don't have control over, it can really cause trauma and like mentally it can put you in a state where you're worrying about things that become not even real. And that's even somebody who's mentally healthy. If you keep subjecting yourself to the worrisome things, then your brain is going to release cortisol. It's going to release all these chemicals that will actually affect the way your body and your mind function. And we have to, you know, not be delusional and look that there are problems going on, but actually put our energy towards helping each other and focusing. I like to say training our brain to focus on our power and potential, not our pain and our past, to focus on our family, to focus on Allah, to focus on the things that really maximize our joy. Now, there are scary things, and that's where it's important to reach out to someone, you know, and like I have a telehealth practice. I also have the Dean of Zen app that you can process things with, but then also for those of us to be there for each other and realize that everybody's kind of anxious right now, but they're probably afraid. This is the problem with the mental health versus mental illness. When someone says they're afraid or they're escalated or they're not sleeping well, they're worried they're going to get hospitalized right away. And that's where I think, and not that there's anything wrong with that if you need it, but that's where I think we have to have the communication about, even if you don't have a very strong diagnosis, you know, therapy and even some medications like, you know, light anti-anxiety medication. There's a medication called hydroxyzine. Like a lot of those things don't mean we have a serious mental illness. They just we just need them to maximize our mental health. Does that make sense? Uh-oh, I can't hear you.
Well, does anyone have
Oh,
questions?
sorry, I was in mute. Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you so much for explaining that. I have questions someone sent me on, through the inbox. Many families are going through a lot of immigration enforcement right now. What is the long-term effect that could cause this fear of being deported or being afraid? What's the long-term effect of their mental health?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It's trauma. It's similar, and that's the one thing about the brain that it's important to identify the fear, identify being afraid of what is real in these unfortunate circumstances, this horrible condition our state, I'm in Minnesota, is in right now. Okay. To embrace that, but also not subject yourself to it continually. I think that's one of the problems, is it only makes the trauma worse. So long term, you have to identify the threat and identify what's going wrong, but then you have to find a healthy outlet to process it with. Some type of therapy or coaching or some type of, somebody to bounce it off of that is going to say, this is the real threat and this is what you shouldn't be subjecting yourself to. Because if you go into social media, you're continually seeing the worst, right? Because people know that the base function of the brain is fight or flight. That's why when you turn on the news, you only see tragedy, okay? Because they want to tap that person's natural state of the brain to tap into that fight or flight. It's only in training our brain and looking at the balance and the good things in our life that we can actually keep healthy. So the trauma will get much worse if not only are you having the trauma of feeling trapped at home because of all the nastiness that's going on, but if you continue to subject yourself to all these stories and all these images and all this interaction of the negativity that's going on, you're actually trapping yourself and like furthering the damage of long-term trauma. And it's realistically PTSD, like minor states of PTSD are probably almost automatic from what's going on right now across the board, and like I said, it hits home to me too. I have a 21-year-old son and my wife are both Somali, and it's scary. I'm not moving away from that, but I am saying we really need to get help. We need to reach out to each other and support each other and not always subject each other to potentially fearful things that we have no control over. If there's something we can do, then let's talk about it and let's come up with solutions. But continually looking at this stuff that we might not be healthy for our brain long term and doesn't benefit us can actually hurt us from a mental health perspective long term.
Great. Haye ku socda. Maskaxda, are you here?
Yeah, I am. Dad oo su'aal qabaan ma jiraan?
Haye su'aal haddaa qabto Ingiriis ku weydii, af Soomaali ku weydii, annaga kuu sheegayno. Ama comment kusoo qor ama kor ka hadal. Haddii aad kor saaran tahay su'aalaha qabto weydii.
I will ask, there's I think there's a lot of misunderstanding and fear when it comes to any, whether it's depression medication, any psychiatric medications. Some people, like, for example, like just from my own experience working in mental health with Somalis, like there's a fear that medication, like, makes you more, it changed your brain into the worst, or they would be like, oh, those medications might, like somehow bring more harm, which is not. Like, I think there's a lot of different types of medication, right? And then also there is, you're not stuck on taking medications forever. Like thinking like if you start taking mental health, any medication for your mental health is somehow you feel stuck to take it forever. So I don't know if you want to just explain why medication helps our brain, because we can do a lot of things, kind of the brain chemicals, why, it's not just based on praying it away, or like it's not just based on like changing your lifestyle. There's more complex to our brain chemicals that sometimes we do need that medication to function.
Yes, no, and I will totally get that. I see if the host could, what's your name again?
Idris.
Idris. Okay, Idris, if you could kind of make a note, there's some people asking some pretty good questions in the thing that I would like to circle back to. Like somebody asked about lifestyle changes and that sort of thing. So if you could kind of make a note of some of those too, I will address all of it. But but what she just asked me is vitally important and it's something I think we really need to address, and that is the fear of medications. And what I was kind of going with when I was talking about the fight or flight brain, okay? If you're continually subjecting yourself to, if you've been subjected to trauma, or even maybe you were born a certain way, chemistry is off. No different than if somebody has a cardiac disease, okay, and their heart isn't functioning the way it should, and they need to take medication to even out, the electrical waves or whatever's going on in their heart, or the blood flow for or reduce blood pressure or anything. Psychiatric meds, there's a great fear around them, but there shouldn't be, because it's all chemistry. Now, that being said, what I think is also vitally important, and someone mentioned this, is the balance. You need the medication. If your chemistry is off, you will not get better until things are balanced. You just won't. You just can't. Just like your heart will never get better, because it will overwork or underwork or whatever until the chemistry is balanced. Then you can exercise like you need to. And then when you're balanced, then maybe the dose does go down. It's not a forever thing with brain chemistry either, okay? And that's there's lots of studies and everything that when you start taking medications, brain chemistry evens out, you start getting better sleep, you start being able to exercise more, you're not operating out of fear, so therefore your brain's not producing all that cortisol, which then is messing up your chemistry, okay? Then things can go either way. The biggest thing that I think is tough is this idea that, medications make it worse, okay? I will agree, medications are not the answer, okay? Medications even you out so that you can then use the skills to maximize your joy. But they are the answer to at least even you out, because if you're not functioning at a level that it's even possible to overcome some of the brain structure and brain chemistry issues that are going on, you're not going to get to where you need to be. Your life is never going to be optimized. And it's just like with the heart issue. Yeah, maybe you'll continue to live, but you won't be able to play with your kids like you want. You will continually be fearful. Like, at the end of maximizing your joy, you will be robbing yourself of joy and opportunities that Allah means us to have, right? He wants us to live a maximized life, even in tough circumstances, okay?
Good. So the question on the comment was, can lifestyle changes improve mental health significantly?
1,000,000%. Okay, they 1,000,000% they can. But if your brain chemistry is off, that's why it's important to talk to a professional and be open to it. because you're not even going to be, you're going to wear your mind out, or maybe even your body, because when your mind is not running the way it should, it will also affect your immune system. It will affect your heart. It will affect your blood pressure. So yes, behavior activation is what we call it. Lifestyle changes can be helpful, okay, but if your chemistry is off, you have to address that first in order for those to be productive. But yes, exercise, that's the beautiful thing. I think that's the beautiful thing about Islam, is that we pray 5 times a day, okay? It's so important to be mindful and to take a break, okay? And to reach out to our Creator, but like even from people who don't understand the complete gift that we've been given with Salah, we do have, it is scientifically known that we need to take breaks. We need to be reflective. We need to meditate. It's just intertwined in our actual lifestyle, which is cool. But if the brain chemistry is off, even prayer becomes anxious. Even prayer becomes guilt-filled. So everything we do is damaged. So it's very important to get, not be afraid. We're not usually afraid to go to the doctor for a heart issue or a mind issue, or I broke my ankle. It's exactly the same with the mind. It truly is. And it is important to get with somebody that, you trust. Just like all medical doctors are not perfect, neither are all therapists. Okay. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be mindful, but you should reach out and be willing to realize, all of us, especially in the society we live, okay, we're being continuously exposed to electronics, social media, ICE, political violence, racism, like all these things that we live in our society are continually bombarding us. We need to process that with someone who's professional.
Let me just quickly update those who came right now. Caawa waxaa noo joogo Dustin oo ku takhasusay caafimaadka maskaxda oo weydiinaysa walaal 1 second ku takhasusay caafimaadka maskaxda ku takhasusay. haddii aad su'aalo qabtaan fadlan hoos ku soo qora shaashada garaaca, korna waa soo qabsan kartaan, su'aalina waa weydiin kartaan. Cabdinaasir, go ahead brother, ask your question.
Okay, ninka la yiraahdo dadka horta meesha ku saaran su'aalay midna hadii xitaa luqadda fahmaynin Soomaaliya ku weydiin waa la idin turjumay. Idrisow, laba qodob aan weydiin lahaa iga turjun dan anagu tayda kula hadlo waxaan malays ma fahmayn. Okay, dhowr kan bilooda waxay xanuunaya madaxa. Waxa kale ila xanuuna ilaa inta surka damba oo surka dhan ah ilaa garbaha gaarays. Secondly, gabadha aniga xaaskayga boqorada guriga joogta xogaa waxay qabtaa hurdo la'aan, marka wax koos gareeyana ma naqaan. Dhowr jeer dhakhtar u tagtay, there's nothing can do. wax janji ma lahan. So labadaas qodob aan weydii lahaa.
Marka adiga waxaa isku aragtay madax xanuun joogta amiya?
Madax xanuun joogta oo indhaha marka hore madaxa oo waxa soo qabanaya xanuunku intuusan ahaynin caada indhaha iga fuula. waxaad moodaa roob inuu hortayda ku da'ayo. madaxa markuu nabarku qabtana okay, indhihii caadkii ka noqonaa, bacdina madaxa ay xanuunaya, saayida way xanuunaa ilaa surka ayaa ila sii xanuunaa marka.
So if I can translate, probably the brother is saying that he's having a constant headache, and also his wife is having issue with the sleep. She's not able to sleep. So one of the things that he's describing is that the constant headache, it's not only here but also back, some sort of back pain here, and he does not actually know the cause of that.
So I really deal with like the emotions and the mind, not as much the physical. So that would be something that I would not, and even here I would have to, even with the mental, I would hate to give I really can't give medical advice without like a full assessment, but that is out of my scope. I would highly encourage, it could be stress related. If there are things that are stressing him out, you can definitely have increased headaches and back pain, or neck pain, but I would definitely seek some type of medical professional because those are physical things.
What could be the cause that his wife not able to sleep? Is that could related anything about emotions or?
For sure. And a lot can be going on with that too. It could be physical, but his wife not sleeping, a lot of it has to do with anxiety. Most times is that people lay down and their mind won't stop running. And you find this a lot with everything that's going on when people have, they're worrying about their family, they're worrying about what's going on, and then they subject themselves to talking to people who are worrying about it and to media and to all these other things that just keep showing the negativity, and the fear just gets big, and they don't step back and take the time to process it with a professional, along with, trusting in Allah. At the end of the day, we have to balance everything. We need to get help so we can talk about what's bothering us, and at the same time find out if it's physical, if it's mental, what is going on, and then remove ourselves from the excess bombardment of things that increase our anxiety.
Good. Dadka kor saaran haddii aad su'aal qabin hoos u dega dad su'aalo qaban soo qabanayna ku soco maskaxda 1 second
wax yara rabe inaan dhaho and like for Dustin is right like
wax yar macaanto aboowe wiilkii su-aasha waan soo laabtay by the way I'm back wiilkii su-aasha u sheegaysa Dustin uu su-aashaasiita uu ansar garinaya aboo u sheeg mideeda kale waxaan u sheegaynaa that's me.
Well, I was going to give a disclaimer. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Disclaimer na bixi waxa baay macaan aniga inaan aadanahay cunug yara ma arkano isbitaal ku jira ma fahant
inaan asaga English ku dhahay baa wana dadkan inay ogaadaan wax kale igu soo kordhay cunuga isbitaalka ku jira marka inaan aad baanahay insha Allah saas oo la socda that's why aan wax badan meesha aan waan dhageysanaya laakiin marka abaay disclaimer kana ka bixi at the same time su-aasha aboowihii uu ka hadlayna maxaa la dhahay waxaa loo sheego insha Allah so disclaimer ka hore ayaan bixinayaa waxaa waaye maxay ahaday like so TikTok markii la joogo even qofka dhaqtar hadduu yahay su-aalo maxay ahaday oo ku saabsan oo naftaada ku saabsan kama jawaabi karo because maxaa u baahanta dhaqtar inaa aadid dhaqtar inaa la kulantid oo maxay ahaday uu waxyaalaha assessment suubiyo waxyaalo badan ay noqon kartaa dhibaatada oo ku haysato so waxaa waaye un general information like waxyaalaha su-aalaha aad weydiinaysid muxuu ka jawaabi karaa un waxyaalo oo adiga kuu saabsaneen but wiilka hadda meesha joogay waxaa rabay inaan dhaho in asagana uu dhahay maxay noqon kartaa waxyaalo badan ay noqon kartaa maxay noqon kartaa maxay ahaday medical condition mise waxay ahaday waxay noqon kartaa anxiety uu dhahay walwalka but also maxaa laga yaabaaba sleep apnea medical condition dhakhtar intaa aadid waaye asaga waxba kama jawaabi karo so dhakhtarkaas aad and then maxay ahaday insha Allah referralka u baahanta ayaka ku dirayaan primary care iska aad and maxay ahaday gabadhaas adigana waa aadi kartaa okay so su'aal qofkii qabin haddaad degi kartid
May I have a question?
Okay, bye, go ahead.
And how you have a number to contact with you, or we have to make appointment with you, or you live in Minnesota?
Yeah, so I do virtual appointments.
Okay, how we can find your number and how we can contact you?
Yeah, so if you go to Dustin Dean, PMHNP Headway, if you Google it.
Okay.
So Dustin Dean, PMHNP Headway, and you Google it. I will come up, and then I take most insurances. Also, I have the coaching app, which is 24/7 access to mindfulness stuff. That my bio was talking about earlier. That's at deanofzen.ai.
Okay, what insurance are you taking? Because I work with city of Minneapolis. I have this stay like the city. I have the insurance for my job. What city job?
You know, to be honest, I take a whole bunch of them, and I'm not sure what all they are, and I don't know what the city actually gives. I know when you go to Headway, it will have you scan in your insurance card, and it'll say like if you're approved and like what the cost will be and all those things.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Wamahat's Day. Thank you for asking. I appreciate that. Like that's awesome.
Yes.
By the way, I'm just gonna add a little bit. By the way, haddaad u baahan tihiin Dustin, like hadda Janice hadduuna kuu siinin inaad imanka aad wax weydiisid, amaad xoogaa like you're afraid of asking or you're like feel a little
I
bit of
want
a
to
shame
ask
asking.
in private, sister. I want to see him
Yes,
private.
I got it. So yes, that's fine. What you need to do is Abaya, you can follow him too as well. You guys can follow him. Maxaa la dhahay tale soo raaca because halkaas information kad sheegayso kugu siin karaa ku dhigi karaa okay magacuu kuu qori karaa, you know? And then magacuu kuu qori karaa. Yeah. So follow him too as well, you know? He's one
Can
of
I
us,
follow
you
you in
guys.
TikTok? Or?
Yeah.
Thanks, Abayo.
Yeah, he's one of us. He's a boy. Dumashi, he understands everything, you know? The only thing is that Somali, like in otherwise, everything, the culture, everything, he's really well diverse into the culture, into our people. So, yeah, you guys follow him too as well, please.
MashaAllah. Please follow Destin. Please do that. Go ahead.
And you can direct message me too, and I can give you the link and everything. It's at Dean of Zen is my TikTok. So.
waa idin salaamaya horta dhammaantiin khaasatan Idris aad baan kuu salaamaya.
So one thing I wanted to say to the sister earlier, she was saying that one thing I just wanted to clarify. She was saying that like this is for education and everything, and it's not medical advice, right? That's what she said earlier, right? That was she saying that in Somali? Because
yes.
I do want to clarify just to be sure that no one's going, I can't do therapy over TikTok, okay?
Yes. Yeah, I got you. Okay. Mine is also a general question.
Yeah.
When we are talking about the issue of mental health,
yes.
Normally it is caused by imbalances. So I was wondering if you can talk to us about some of the causes of the imbalances, so that at least for prevention, when we know, we can prevent them, instead of like trying to balance. We can prevent and try maintaining a balanced state of brain.
Yes. For sure. Did someone else want to say something, or am I okay to answer?
You're good. Go ahead.
Yeah, brother. That's a great question. But there are things that have happened previously that you can't just like avoid things, like, because most of the time, like I was saying before, the brain in its base function keeps us alive. Okay. When we go through trauma or abuse or, even many things, different foods, if we've had injuries or surgeries, sometimes that'll change our body chemistry too. So for the here and now, the best thing to do to keep it from getting any worse or anything is to not subject yourself to anxiety inducing things like, lots of traumatic conversations, or, really looking at is this something that I have control over or don't I? And if I don't have control over something, I shouldn't subject myself to media and conversations about it, because it's only going to cause my brain to release cortisol, which is then going to throw my chemistry off. The other thing is what we can't always, because of what we've been through, lots of times in childhood and stuff, we can't always avoid what's already been done. But we can do a good job of being mindful and not subjecting our children to excessive fear in regards to, discipline or, things that they can't control, continually like subjecting them. And I think right now is a really hard time because how ugly it is with what is going on with ICE and other things. We want to be vigilant and protect our children, but we also have to be careful not to subject them to too much fear. Because the more fear that comes to them, the more their little brains like get overwhelmed with cortisol and other things, which then can change brain structure, changes brain chemistry, and then that's when medications are needed. The big thing is, though, is like, I think looking at medication as no different than with your heart or something else, and not really trying to avoid it, but being happy when you find that you're imbalanced and it evens you out, that should really be where the focus should be, rather than just like if you had a heart issue, you would want that heart issue fixed. It's the same with the mind. And just like with your heart, most people couldn't have done it. I guess sometimes eating plays a part, but most times it's genetic and no one could have done anything about it anyways. So most time with mental health, it's the same. It's either genetic or it's trauma. The only really thing you can control is, being mindful, focusing on things that bring you joy, not trying to keep your emotions balanced with being, taking time to, relax and pray and really focus on the things that matter, like our family and those things, rather than all the trauma and drama we can't control.
Thank
Does
you very
that make
much.
sense, boy?
Can I add a little bit in there too as well?
Please do, Siam.
Fiiri, I was just gonna say, yes, abowe Destin wuxuu dhahay generic waa generic markuu ka hadlayo, let's say aabaha ama hooyada ba waxay qabeen cudur mental health issue ama depression ama schizophrenia ama waxaas. So adiga markaas riski u haysataa, waad ka qaadan kartaa, cunugka way ku gudbin kartaa. Ma fahantay? waxaa kaloo hadda uu sheegay u dhahay trauma, like haddii dhibku soo gaadho, dhibka ugu soo dhacay, dhibkaasayto maskaxdaada xanuun buu u geysanaya, xanuunkaasayto oo yacni u baahan inaa kaalmo u baahan, kaalmo dawo, kaalmo inaa ma arkin oo dhakhtarka la xiriirtid, therapy u baahanta, waxaasoo dhan u baahantay. Ma fahantay? Iyo wax la yiraahdo waxaa jirto xanuunka maskaxda u keena balwadda. xanuun waxaa jirta la yiraahdo ma arkin oo induced, maxaa la dhahay, drug induced by psychosis. So
sorry, but that was one thing. You just said it, sister, and I didn't understand all of it, but that was one thing I should have emphasized, and maybe you're saying this too. The biggest thing you can do, though, is avoid weed. Okay? Yeah. People think that weed is harmless to mental health, to your brain chemistry. The quickest way for you to become schizophrenic, bipolar, that you actually have control over, is smoking weed. Please, that's not a lecture. If you look, there's science, there's a lot of, it's tough to find the truth about weed because now the government's making a lot of money off it now that it's legalized and everything. But if you look at what marijuana does to your brain, there's studies that have been done, and the scans of your brain of somebody who's done it for over 20 years are similar to someone who has schizophrenia. Also, people are vaping it, and it's in concentrations that it's never been before. So I should have said that. Yes, avoiding weed is something that you do have control over. Sorry, sister. I didn't mean to, but I heard you say that, and I'm like, I got to emphasize that. I didn't know if you talked about cannabis. So
No, yeah, no. Thank you. No, I was just talking about overall, like, drugs can actually impact your mental health, can give you actually a disease or illness caused by psychosis induced by drugs. So, the things that you can prevent is like waxyaalahaas oo kale maxaa la dhahay qofku markuu balwad yeesho balwadda maskaxda waxbay u dhintaa waxaa kaloo jirto stress markuu kugu dhaco stresskaasito xal baad ka gaari kartaa marka isla markii waa inaad caafimaad raasataayo therapist raasataa stresska sidoo intuu kugu bateen oo depression u bedelin oo xaaladaada u sii weynaa waxyaalo waxaa jirta ka hortagi kartid iyo waxyaalo waxaa jirta aad adiga waxba there's nothing you can do oo wax aad suubin kartay aysan jirin other than depend on medication and also psychoeducation markay noqoto yacni waxbarasho yacni caawin therapist iyo waxaasito taasoo hadda aan ka hadlayna waxyaalaha generiga waxyaalaha qofka markuu ku dhaco bipolar waa lifelong illness ma fahantay waa lifelong illness waaye waxaa u baahan tahay dawa u baahan tahay mar walbaba you need that medication in addition to maxaa la dhahay the therapist having relationship oo dhakhtarkaada oo maskaxda dawada kuu qoray inaad mar walba xariir la yeelato ma fahantay hadday xataa dawada ay dhib kugu geyso side effect kugu geyso because waxaan ogsoonahay even the Tylenol-ka ma arkin oo Tylenol-ka caadiga aan qaadano ama ibuprofen-ka qaadano haddii aan limitkeeda dhaaftid has maxaa loo side effects everything on qaadana side effects aan haysanaa it's not only the psychotropic medication dawada oo maskaxda keliya ma ahan any kind of dawa aa qaadatid wax walba waxay qabaan dhibaato kuu keeni kartaa laakiin dhibaato waxaa jirto loo dul qaadan karo oo dawo kale loo qaadan karo kaa baabi'inayso iyo dhibaato waxaa jirto oo halis midaasna ay u baahan tahay haddii dawadaasi tahay halis dhibaato kuu keenso in lagaa joojiyo marka mar walbaba dhakhtarkaada inaad xariir la yeelatid wixii adiga aad dareemaysid adigana dhinacaada aad suubsay inaada balwad yeelanin haddii stress kugu dhaco inaad stresskaasiito aad iska gaartid oo ma arkin oo aad skills iyo therapist iyo waxaasito anxiety haddaa qabtid therapist u baahan tahay waxaa jirta waxyaalo badan oo u baahan DBT wax la dhaho CBT wax la dhahaa u baahan wiilkan oo kala baro ma fahantay waxyaalahaas u baahan oo loogu talagalay inay kaa caawiso xanuunkaas markaa ku haya dawada keliya ma ahan laakiin waxaa u baahan tahay skillska wiilkan wuu baraa therapist wuu baraa marka saas waaye waxaa jirta cudur xag ilaahay rabbaani ka socdo oon waxba laga qaban karin oo generic iyo cudur adigu aad gacantaada ku kan sida ay balwadoo kale ay tahay ma fahanta iyo cudurkan kale iyadana laftirkeeda xag ilaahay ka qoranta haddii qofka dhibaato ku dhacdo trauma ku dhacdo there's nothing wax adiga markaasita adiga aad isku subisa maaha laakiin waa wuxuu bini'aadan kuu geystay soo waxa garta ma aha kaasna dee saasay kale yihiin ma fahante marka waa mahadsan tahay
masha allah
So there's somebody AJZSM had a comment that if there's follow up for Siham, go ahead. But I do want to answer the question that AJZSM put in there. If that's okay, is that okay, or did we need follow up?
Yeah, you're good. Go ahead.
So I don't know what that means. Ageism, hopefully you're still watching. He asked about, what do I do about the news? And what you do about the news is stop watching it. Stop reposting it. Okay? What we need to do, I think a lot of us are probably have connections either at the masjid or with other people that kind of make us mindful about what's going on. But there's this hypervigilance. News and social media is making a lot of money and a lot of things off of our fear about what's going on. And in my opinion, a lot of it is a psyop in itself to keep people ruminating about this fearfulness and it's not healthy. So turn it off. Like, don't subject yourself. Being aware, how much awareness do we really need to be healthy? There's always this thing that we need to stay diligent. And I think we need to be diligent with our families. I think we need to be diligent a little bit about how to protect ourselves and how to protect our families. but continually subjecting ourselves to this trauma and drama that's going on a national level is actually extremely damaging to our mental and emotional wellness.
There's a comment, there's a question down on one of the comments. It says, what is the difference between stress and anxiety? Could you explain a little bit, please?
Yeah. So stress causes anxiety. Okay. So what anxiety is that uncomfortability, not being able to relax. Okay. When you subject yourself to, some things we can't help, work stress, money stress, like those things naturally happen. But when you're subjecting yourself to conversations about things you can't control, or, politics so many times, when we subject ourselves to these stressful things, it increases our anxiety. And what anxiety does is it's our body's consistent state of hypervigilance. So we're subjecting our body to fight or flight. So like, if you go back, it's kind of like our mind doesn't know the difference between what we tell our mind it believes. So if we're subjecting it to anxiety, it's no different than being chased with a gun in a war. If we're continuing to watch people be chased or being imprisoned or being all these things, and we keep subjecting ourselves to that, it's as if we're actually experiencing it. Our central nervous system gets excited, overwhelmed. It starts producing that cortisol, which changes our brain chemistry, and in the end can cause us to need balance, which usually comes in a chemical forms, as well as mental exercises and those things. But I can't emphasize enough to connect with people that are supportive, that are aware, but are also supportive and uplifting, not fear mongering. Like, we have to focus on fulfillment, not fear, because when we focus on fear, it's extremely damaging to our mental health.
I'll try to add some point with someone that struggles with anxiety myself, and then also I teach psychoeducation in partial programs. So I'll try to say in Somali. wuxuu asaga dhahay stress jirkaada ayay maxay ahaday maskaxdaada iyo jirkaada sida ay maxay ahaday caafimaadkaada ay bedeli kartaa. So walwalka markaad qabtid maxay ahaday waxay increase gareynaysaa, waxay sii kordhinaysaa sida jirkaada iyo maskaxdaada u react gareeyo oo maxay ahaday u jawaabo. So for example, maybe walwalka run ma ahan, laakiin jirkaada iyo maskaxdaada waxay u respond gareynayaan dhaqmada, like sidaada u jawaabaysid inay maxay ahaday ay run ay kula tahay waxyaalaha dareemaysid. So anxiety, walwalka inta badan every emotion we know fiicanta, there's a healthy level of it, right? So walwalka maxay ahaday inta badan jirkeena maxay noo sheegaysaa marka aan wax ka cabsanayno. And for example, a snake, or qof baa gurigaada kusoo galay. So there's a walwal oo ku dhahaya, there's a danger. Cabsidaas way jirtaa, waa run. Balaakiin markaan anaga stress dareemayno, maskaxdeen waxay u bedelaysaa iyo walwalkaas wuxuu u bedelayaa inuu waxyaalaha oo runta ahaan, oo like for example hadda wax maxaa ka fikiraysaa worst case scenario, wax xun baa dhici doono, laakiin ma ogid waxaas inuu dhici doono. There is a possibility, for example, maybe a loved one, qof oo adiga aad wacaysa kuma soo maxay ahayd jawaabin. And I don't want to go long to this, but I love to explain in this way. And then maxaa u malaysa, okay, qofkaas car accident u galay, waxba shil baa dhacay, laakiin walwalkaada maskaxdaada iyo jirkaada maxay u jawaabaysaa inay run tahay, even though run ay ahaan. I hope that helped.
qof kaloo su-aal qaba ku soco.
سؤال درس وحير شغبو وعليكم السلام. درس السؤال Yeah, there's a su'al. Somebody said, can sleep hygiene alone improve mental health?
Yeah, I mean, so yeah. That's a complicated question because alone, so you never know what all other things are going on. But sleep hygiene, if you are not sleeping well, yes. I mean, if you're not getting sleep, you're not going to have good mental health no matter what's going on, even if you have good brain chemistry and everything else. Sleep is vital to our survival, and it's vital especially to our mental and emotional survival and wellness. So it can definitely help. When I get a question like alone, I get a little nervous because we're complicated beings. We're amazing beings, created beings, but we're also complicated. So it's not going to hurt. It's definitely going to help, just like exercise. Will it solve everything? You know, we have to be mindful about wanting to be the best us and using all resources at our disposal to become the best we can be, to optimize our joy and for ourselves and for our families.
Great, mashallah. Ayo ku soco.
هل سؤالك قبا والسلام يا دمان كجرو haddaan luqadaydan kula hadlaa waxaa laga yaabaa inaan isfahmin oo marka diris adiga
waa lagu turjumaanayaa gabdhaha joogo farxiin way ku turjumaan isku sacbo
waxaa jirto mataqaanaa gabar oo ila dhalata jirto way dhashay mataqaanaa cunuga ugu horreeya dhashay markii ay dhashay waxaa dhacday ayada caafimaad qabto xayi ahayd maskaxdeeda markii ilmihii ay dhashay waxaa qaaday shood oo mataqaanaa wax walbo markii la dhaho way oyni mararka qaar way iska oyni mar mataqaanaa waxbaa dhimanaya hebel wuu dhimanayaa hebel haleewaca hebel wuu dhimanayaa mulkumoodkiya kan mataqaanaa way iska oyneen macnaha miirkeeda ma soo laaban 6 bilood ee sidanta dhakhtar geeya meel walba geeya wax walba ku sameynay hadda xaafadda isku jirta qoraan ma saarnaan waxyaabahaas oo kale wax koos garan karo
He said that he has a sister that had a baby 6 months ago. And no, what uturjumamu
okay.
Yeah, he said that he has a sister that had a baby 6 months ago, and since she had the baby, she's having problems with having like crying out of nowhere, fearing that somebody's gonna die soon, that something bad is gonna happen. She's been like this for 6 months, and he wants to know what can cause this kind of things. I think he said that they took her to the hospital and nothing has changed since then.
So I mean that I would have to, this isn't medical, like I haven't assessed her, but it sounds like postpartum depression, which is a real thing. With the body's chemistry and everything that changes when you have a child, depression it definitely increases the chances of a chemical imbalance that needs medical or needs psych medication intervention. That's I can't like diagnose, but like it definitely sounds, I would definitely get her checked out by someone who can provide the mental and emotional support she needs, and probably someone who is, you know, aware of postpartum depression. That's what it definitely sounds like to me.
Yeah, I was gonna clarify. He said he took her to the doctor. About Dr. Kegese, هذا انت دقنتها.
حتى Somali loo shaqaado xaggaas quraan saar loo geeyo mataqaanaa xaggaas jirta.
dhakhtarka xagee ka geysabo dhakhtarka xagee laga geeyo
wadanka dhexdiisa le dhakhtar laga geeyay mataqaanaa depression ahaaye oo dhahay oo mataqaanaa maskaxda ka fikirtay marka way caafimaad doontaa oo dhahay.
Okay. Abo waxa waaye horta fiiri ma horta qofka bilaadanka hadda wiilkan wax general uu ka hadlayo laakiin sida aad u sharaxday taas waxay cadeynaysaa gabadha ma arkin waana common you know sometimes actually I wouldn't say common but sometimes way dhacdaa gabdhahu markay dhalaan wax waayaalo waxa ku dhaca postpartum depression iyo psychosis iyo postpartum depression iyo postpartum psychosis oo ku dhacdaa habeen dhexdaas xataa waxaan dhahay gabdhaha halis u yihiin in laga jaahil bixiyo waan wax kale topical aan marka hadli doona insha Allah hadduu aboo fursadana siiyo laakiin Soomaaliya joogtaa wadan waxa waaye wadankeena xagga caafimaadku iska hooseeya gabadhaas haddaad keeni kartiin like Kenya or somewhere oo meelahan India ama meelahan meel aad keeni kartiin dawada saxda loo qoraayo insha Allah way ka baxaysaa waana wax laga baxo ma fahamtay insha Allah
okay
abay ku soco maskaxda ku soco maanta
Turkey حتى واجين كرتا I think they have good medical facilities over there.
So gabadha muxuu dhaw waa la celiyay intee ka celiseen ma weydiin karaa in meesha like intee ka celis Soomaaliya lagu celiyaa dhahday intee
Soomaaliya lagu celiyo muqdisho joogta hadda
intee ka kaxeysay
Mareykanka
okay Mareykanka hadda ku soo celin kartay ku soo celi because meeshaan waxyaalo badan ay ka helaysaa caafimaad oo insurance-keeda caawinayo
Mareykanka waa ku rafaadno meel badan la tagnay mataqaanaa waa isku wareernay oo dad yarna waa ahayn mataqaanaa shaqadii iyo qof xanuunsan oo umul oo maanta dhan sida qof waalan camal u dhaqmaayo noqotay marka waxaan isdhaanay wadanka loo celiyo mataqaanaa quraan saar iyo dhaqaatiir meelahaas in la raadiyo
Kaniniyaal ma qorin
my so Dustin let me how wahira boo sheega so Dustin this is what he said his sister was actually here and she was going through this and she right now she is in Somalia yeah to do some Quran you know Quran Sar and all that what we do you yeah so Maskahada said that she should be back to the country to the States and get the proper help because she needs a psychiatric assessment and help so do you have anything else to add on that?
No, a million percent a bio. Love that everybody's covering the bases and providing the support, but this is definitely and you know we all need all the spiritual help we can get, but this is a physical medical issue, and it's something that definitely needs the support because she needs help and support from a medical professional. There's really no other way about that.
Yeah, and also maskaxda ay ka keenaysaa waxaas oo dhan aniga maxay la quman you know and waxaan tala ahaan ma ahan is just in general gabadhaas like hadday Mareykanka ay joogtay ay aaday you know psychiatrist ayada oo fahmayo especially like maxay ahaday there's a lot maxaa jiraba kuwa oo special ku noqday inay postpartum depression iyo waxaas ay ka caawiyaan so gabadhaas hadday heleeday iyo therapist oo ayadana postpartum depression intay ka caawiso you know cognitive behavioral therapy iyo DBT of Somali hadday u baahan tahay Somali way helaysaa maxay ahayd ani waxaan dhigahay Mareykanka hadday kusoo laabato caawiskaas hesho ayaa ila roonaanay because quraankana waa ku saari kartaa Mareykanka you know waxyaalahaas oo dhan adoo suubinaysid
macnaha waxa ugu badan mar walba mataqaanaa ay sameynayso uu dhimanayaa hebel uu dhintay hebel ma dhintay hebel ma nool yahay dhimasho macnaha afkeeda laga hayaa hebel dhimanaya teeda kale waa caadi salaadeeda tukanaysaa qof waali ma ahan oo mataqaanaa nin markuu daagista waxay dhee ajnabi ay iga tahay mataqaanaa hay taawan banaanka iga mar xijaabkeedii dharkeeda way qabtaa salaadeeda shanteeda waqti toos u tukanaysaa wax daahir iyo nijaaso iskuma darayso suuligeedu way gelaysaa caadiga waxay u soo dhameystani waa
dhimashadaasoo dhan walwalkaana I'll just share the experience hooyaday postpartum depression ana markay dhashay qaxootida ayay maxayda qabtay balaakiin ayada waxyaalahaas ma haysanin like dhimashadaas ayay ka baqaysa like even maxay ahayd waxay dhahaysay qofkaas dhimanaya you know mise ilmahaas way dhimanayaan iga afqaaq ilmaha hay isoo dhaweynin uu dhiman doonaaye so waxyaalahaas calaamadahaas ayada ma haysanin qaxootida literally like ayada soo korsatay inta hooyada meelo ay geliyeen because waxay ka cabsanayeen inay idisho so aniga waxaan dhigaa caafimaadkeeda haddaad u raadinaysiin qur-aankana halka waa ku saari kartaa maraykanka keen maxayade caawiskana u raadeebo
okay waa mahadsantahay aad waa mahadsantihiin
Walaikum assalam.
والله دمانتي وانا سلامة
هي كسعة كغنى
أنا أروح كويديني قفت معاذنا بين دوينا ملاينا كويديان مودي ما قررت سؤال بان سعودي قلت
سؤال عافمات كل كسر سنتين برنامج كاس عاو سعودية
ما والله سؤال مقريش كل كسر سنتين
أوكي ونص والله بنيسا مركا هولا هذا من الدماء وقول الله بنينا هدول يرهدوا
هاي والله ما سنتين
إيه أوكي كسر قف كحية دقيقة السؤال ما قبتها دقيقة والله السؤال ما قبتها كر أما بلد محمد
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
عليه السلام.
دي سوق سلام عليكم أنا حياتي دي سلام أنا immigration ما هلكان أقول برتاي عافمات كسعودة بيه هذا أنا سوق جاي.
عافمات السعودة دي أقول الله بندون إن شاء الله immigration.
ما شاء الله اليوم كان عافمات كلف إنسان سؤال توي يا حرام فيه. ودكتور باينو فدي مركا الصومالي كوي دين كرنا.
صوتور صومالي كوشة قالوا ترجمانه دي ماله.
بس ديارو خير الله. يو إن فديجي قبضن قارب عمودا أنت بدن مركا إن مركا قار وحندر ما يعني somehow vitamins deficiency إنن معناها إنن قبض مربان صوب عري وده سنة دي هذا لقى جو قياسي أديكم مغنيسيوم يدوك كليسيان وان حني الحمد لله لكن أنا فيتامين كم يسكسو يبسن كرا أنا بارتان عادي أمري فيتامينات كعادية لا يبين مارت فيتامين هي بدنا سو يبسن أنا شخصيا ما استعمالي كرا مسوح نبي كيريا شاش ربنا ويدي مسوح قصب إن صوب بارو أمريكا اللغة فيتامينات دي كان هو سيء كان مارت عادك ما صدق
درس محل لها سؤال ما دام أيسن إهنا mental health مو شيء كراوي
ها هذه واحد correlation لا هنا أوشك فريق سابدان حاجة فيتامينك واحد correlation ما لا أنت عايز مسكين واحد مو كاي كتا.
Yeah, Kofa already with this statement on the comment about vitamins that might be helpful. The guy asked more about physical health. Oh, user, you can go ahead but like also if you can add that comment about someone asked vitamins that they can take for their mental health. But yeah, user Ujawab, you want to translate for him?
Yeah, he said that he drives a lot and so he sits a lot and I think he said he went to the doctor and they like looked at his vitamins and they gave him some magnesium and things like that and but his main question is if he can go ahead and get like vitamins over the counter that can help him his overall health without going to the doctor and like running the lab if that's okay basically.
And let me add to that because we have many of our community members, a lot of truck drivers especially, say it's long-term, 11 hours drive. Does that have any connection to the mental health?
Yeah. I mean, and not only is it sitting long-term, it's being out alone by yourself long-term. It's stressful being in traffic, trying to hit those deadlines. I used to, before, in a whole nother life when I was young, I was a Frito-Lay salesman and I drove truck for Frito-Lay before I got into healthcare a long time ago. And, people that you have to deal with at the at the stops and at the stores are not always the most pleasant. So, you know, my heart goes out to our truckers because they're the backbone of our economy and our society, in my opinion. But they have a lot of challenges, especially when it comes to mental health. So first and foremost, like I said before, I work in psychiatry, so I'm not exactly probably the best resource in regards to. Is someone asking something? No, I'm not. I'm probably not the best resource in regards to the overall medical stuff. But yeah, you definitely want to get your over-the-counter vitamins within the recommended doses of the multivitamins, and your vitamin D is crucially, vitally important, especially from people that historically have come from places where there's more sun. Because if you live in Minnesota or one of these places where it's, dark and dreary all the time, your brain really needs that vitamin D that normally comes from the sun, but doesn't in these areas. So vitamin D is important. Magnesium is important. And, buying the over the counter stuff, is there a way to tell? I would highly encourage, yearly physicals where they do labs. I know that can be inconvenient and costly at times, but I think that's the best way to go overall. In regards to trucking and ways that while you're on the truck to kind of keep your mental wellness up is, if you feel yourself depressed or anxious, definitely see somebody or talk to somebody. You can also do sessions sometimes with some therapists while you're driving, just over the headset or whatever. Like with telehealth, there's a lot of kind of cool options now. You wouldn't want to do a video one, of course, but there is an option to get help and just realize it's okay. We all feel lonely at times. We all feel anxious at times, and when you're out on the road and everything, you do need somebody to talk about it. And even if it is when you get home and you have an appointment, the people that are out on the road, they have a lot. They're crucial to our society, but there's a lot of challenges that can come from mental health in regards to stress, anxiety, loneliness, and depression.
Somebody else was asking in Somali in the comments that whenever they get stressed out a lot, they gain a lot of weight.
Yeah, I mean that's cortisol. Cortisol does that. You'll gain weight when you're stressed out, when you're anxious, when you're subjecting yourself to things that put your mind into fight or flight, like trauma, tragedy, and negative things. Yeah, your body does respond in. It can respond two ways. People's chemistry is different. Some people, the cortisol will cause them to actually gain weight, and that sort of thing. Some people will actually lose their appetite. But it's definitely negative overall when you don't have an outlet to process that stress with.
Nice.
Did that answer the question, user? Did that answer, or did you have a follow-up?
No, that's all she wrote, so I was just trying to translate it for you.
Thank you.
Hello, Arin maxaad dhihi karaa alla aniga ii gudbiya. Assalaamu calaykum.
Assalam kusoo.
Hello, walaal waan salaamay maasha Allah maxaa wax soo kordhiseen muddo 3 casho idinku xirnahay ilmaha ma ka hadli karaa muu ka hadli karaa ilmaha caafimaadkooda
kusoo weydii
wiil yar waxa ii jooga 7 jir ah muddo 3 jeer waxa lagu arkay qalal daykeerka isagoo jooga 2021 October 3 sano jiray daykeerka dhexdiisa markii first time ku qalalay markii labaad bish 3 2023 oo sanad ka soo wareegtay iyo bar markii afraadna soo 3 sano arkinin September markii saddexaad waxay ahayd September sanadkii u dambeeyay hadda soo dhaafay muddo 5 daqiiqo buu maqnaanayaa sankii afku abuur ka sii daynaya indhuhu cadeynaysa wax naf ka dhacayso kale dhakhtarkuna daawo yar wuxuu u soo qoray hadduu qabto la siinayo ambalaas loogu wacayo ambalaas intay imaanaysana dawada la sii siinayo markii ambalaas u timaadana qandhajooyin baa lasoo siinaya la soo celinayo aan markii saddexaad u qabtay maxaa la siin karaa maxaase loo qaban karaa muxuuse yahay muxuuse ku yimid
gabdhaha su-aasha ma la xiriirtaa marka arrintan
yaa walaalo
Well, so Asha, okay. The sister actually asked medical questions. She said that her son is sometimes he gets seizure, and it's more like not a mental health question, but it's more of the medical stuff. Marka, I don't know. She said that. What is this like her son? Abba, ma u sharaxi kartaa? Waaba iloobe wixii. Waa kala iloobe.
maya aba
I don't know. I don't know.
maya farxiye
Ha waaba iloobe wixii muxuu ahaa?
oo
Hadda wiilkii
qabtay seizureka wuxuu qabtay 3 times 2021 October 4 2023 March 10 and that one 2025 September 20 waxa aan loo qabtayna malahan dhakhtarka markii la geeyo qandhajooyin bas waa la siinayaa xoogaa anigu waa
medication ma la soo qorin
dawo yar waxaa loo soo qoray hadduu qabto la siinayo iskaan baa la geliyey madaxa wax lagaga dhadhajiyey wax kastoo loo sameeyana waxaa la yidhi negative weeyaan alla ilaahay wixii madaxa lagaga dhajiyey waxaa la yidhi positive soo qoray qalal inuu samayn doono intuu socon doono lama oga waana 7 year weeyaan
okay. Go ahead, Abba. Go ahead.
Basically, the kid, he's 7 years old and he keeps having seizures. I think the 4th time, and whenever she takes him to the hospital, they only give him like a like Tylenol or Advil, something to break his what is it called?
painkillers
Maya, I don't think it's a painkiller. She says that he was given, it was prescribed. No, it wasn't like that. It was given medication to help control the symptoms when he gets the seizure.
Yes.
So that's what she said.
Yeah, but I think her main complaint is that whenever she takes him to the emergency, they only give him like medication for when you have a high temperature only, and they tell him to go home. But he is on medication for the seizures that he's only to be given whenever he has the seizure. So صح معها.
There's a temporary waxa short term markuu qabto.
About where did it live?
bay macaanto markuu gabadha wanaga maqnayd markii hore marka sharaxayay markuu qabanayo iyadoo qandhahayn waxba hayn ayuu qabanayaa si kursigu xataa ka dhacay laanji baa qaadanayna casar bay marka iskuul ka soo qaaday ahayd uniformka markaan ka bedelo fadhiisiyo cuntada usoo galo 2 jeer markuu qaato waxaan arkay cuntadiyo iska soconaysa sankii afku mata ka wado kursigii sidoo qofka markuu meedayo soosarta kama dhaco kursigii ka dhacay dhulku dhacay 5 minutes oo saa u haynayaa amarsiga wacay waan waashay markii markay qaadeen waxba qandha jabin oo baa la siiyeen waa la soo celiyeen
Oh, okay.
So medication
macnaha markaan hadday soo qodho dawadan laakiin 3 jeer hore dawada soo qortay naagta isku naagba markas nala kulanta hadda isbitaalista weyn ayaan referral la iigu diray wali ilama kulmin heredity wax abay xataa waxaan inuu firsanayo wax abay ka qaadeen ilkaha hoostoodii jawaabta waxay dhaheen negative madaxa wax lagaga dhajiyo waxa la qalal ayuu qabaa wuuna qaban doonaa hadda berigoor baskan saari jira hadda waan qaadaa waxaan dhaamo baska dhexdiisa ku qabtaa maxaa loo qaban karaa marka waxa ku tiraahdaa maxaa ka caawin kartaa
So basically,
definitely right about the neurology referral. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, user. Excuse me.
Oh, it's okay. So basically, the last time that he had the seizure, they finally gave him medication for it, and they sent him to a specialist. and she's asking basically what else can be done for him, basically because he keeps having it on random times. Like when she was feeding him, he had one and like he fell off the chair and like he was throwing up. And so the first 3 times when she took him to the hospital, they didn't really treat him with that medication. So finally they gave her a medication for it, and he randomly keeps having the seizure.
Yeah, like I said, that's definitely a neurology. I think referral and consult is what is needed. To just kind of, without giving any medical advice, to just kind of guess why things are going on is maybe, and I don't want to speak for anything, but like if she's wondering why it's only when something goes wrong, is sometimes with kids that are a certain age, if they can't determine exactly what's doing it, they don't want to just throw them on some of those medications. So, but if she hasn't actually talked to a neurologist, that's a must.
Neurology ma loo diray?
maya baan
Abaya, where did
Specialist baa loo diraa lahayd, neurology ma aha.
maya baan maya hadda anigaa dhakhtar waxaan geeyey anigaan dabaray oo ii dhow kiisii islaam baa iska fadhida 3 sano bay la kulmaysay 4 sanoba laakiin
so primary doctor Mia?
ka family dhakhtarka islaam waxaa fadhida hindiyaho mar kastaba asaga la kulanto iminka dawad waxay soo siisay markuu qabto uu siinayso
Laakiin special kuma dirin oo
iyada special ka meesha laakiin iminka adeer bishii January 22 baan waxaan tagay dhakhtar ii dhow oo clinic yar ah saan referral looga helo markaan ma qaabilsanin markuu yidhi calaamadahaas waa qalal baa waxaan ku yidhi waxaan doonayaa referral inay siis marka referralka la soo siiyay wali jawaab ma aan helin.
Okay. What refer come neurologist Mia kuma maxada brain ka maskaxda
waxaan arkay sidaas oo kale inaan haysata dhakhtar bay ii sheegtay fiican oo dumar ah oo bay ii sheegtay Germany oo dhakhtar fariista cabaarna u jira saacad dhakhtarkaas marka bay tiri buu fadhiistaa marka taasaan aan warqad u soo qaatay oo refer ahaan ayada aan soo la kulmay laakiin wali bay lama kulmin soo duceeyay.
Abaya intee joogtaa intee degan tahay? Maybe aniyo gabadha Siham oo ku caawin karnaa referral meelaha dhakhtarka ka aadi kartid. Intee joogtaa adii?
Phoenix.
Yeah?
Phoenix Ventura.
Ma maqleen qof ma maqleen.
xagee joogtaa Abaya? Phoenix Phoenix haddaad joogtid waxaa joogaba isbitaalka weyn oo Mayo Clinic-aba joogto aadi kartaabe oo qabaa neurology qabaane
aniga ma garanay wadanka on ku bis
maya caawin baa u baahanta insha Allah waa lagu caawinaya Abaya nala soo xiriir. And Dustin, people are asking how could we contact you? Is there a way you can actually
Yeah, I put the link to my so if they're in Minnesota and they're looking for like therapy or medication management, I put the Headway link in there. If they they can reach out to me at Dina Zen on TikTok here. Also if you do Dustin Dean PMHMP, I have a LinkedIn account that I'm pretty active in, and then also the deanofzen.ai if you're interested in using my AI app, which is a subscription-based thing that you can talk 24/7. Any advice you have is exactly what I've programmed it to give. So, yeah.
How does it help that application? 1 second, brother.
Yeah. What's up?
Like, if I become a subscriber, what effects does it have to the mental health on your application?
Can you do can you do you know how you did that one time like a practice with your AI?
Yeah, I don't know if, yeah, I want to show it, but I don't know because I'm on my phone and
Okay.
I'm afraid if I get on my computer, it will kick me out.
Okay. Well,
Let me
someone was
try it.
asking.
Let me
Okay.
try it.
Okay. Well,
Let me see if it'll work. I don't think it will. Is there a way to share? No, let's see. Let me try.
okay. So like the skills of asaga ka hadlaya on his self-help app is maxay ahayd coping skills actually inta badan waa la baraa markaad group therapy hadda aniga ka shaqeeyo maxaan barnaa mindful meditation qof haddaa weydiinay mindfulness so maskaxdaada waxaad isku dayaysaa sidee maskaxday u dejin karaa right so a lot of times even neefta oo maskaxdeen u fiican mindful breathing deep breathing oo walwalka iska dejin karno oo jirkeena u sheegi karno maxay ahaydee safe baan yahay like you know like cabsida oo run ma ahan waxyaalahaas oo dhan skillkaas oo dhan buu ku sheegayaa so waxaad dhahaysaa aniga anxious baan yahay cabsi baa i hayso and then maxay ahaydee waxyaalahaas ayuu ku dhahayaa sidee ku caawin karaa ma rabtaa inaad try garaysid maxay ahaydee inaad neefsatid mise the grounding skills you know maxaad aragtaa maxay ahaydee taaban kartaa maxaad carfin kartaa the 5 senses. So I was just explaining how those skills can be helpful, but you can explain well.
Yeah, I can't get it to work right now. I wish I could.
Yeah.
But if you go to www.deanofzen.ai, you can try it. Like you can click, it says try me now. And then you got to click the little telephone so you can actually talk to it. Some people will just start typing. Don't type the stuff. Actually talk to it. Because the cool thing about the Dean of Zen is you can ask it anything. And if it's not helping you, you can be like, what do ya? That doesn't work. Like, well, it won't know what do ya. But you can say, yo, that doesn't work. Give me something else. And it will take every like skill and everything I programmed it to until it finds something that should actually work for you. So you can tell it anything. I just got in a fight with my significant other. You know, people are stressing me out. You know, obviously it's only mental health and it's only education. It's not therapy. You also have to sign up that if you're suicidal, obviously if you say you're suicidal, it's going to hang up and tell you to call 911. But everything else, it's really, thank you so much for advocating for it, sister, because it's really a helpful tool and I'm really proud of it. And it's a fraction of what an actual appointment would cost. And once you subscribe to it, you can call it 24/7.
Nice. Is it like English or does it have other languages like Somali?
For now, it is English. I have been looking into here. I'll put I put the link in there once. I'll put it in again. I have been looking into getting it into other languages. But one thing about I'm very careful with AI in that I want people's data safe and I want everything I'm doing to. So as soon as you call, it will dump all the information. So like lots of people have said, oh, I'd like it to remember me and everything. You can tell it what's gone on before and it will adjust, but it won't like remember because lots of times when the data is stored, it's just overall not the best practice in my opinion. But I would highly encourage, you don't even have to sign up to try it. But you can just try it on the app or try it on the website. And then if you sign up, you can get 3 days free and try it as much as you want. So
that's great.
Assalamu alaikum.
Great. Guys.
Salima wadin karna.
Assalamu alaikum.
Kusaha.
Aniga miya?
Ma iga horreyn misana ka horreyn?
Ha, kusaha lagu maqlaaya. Ka horreyn. equal kusaco.
Okay, assalamu alaikum. Ma maqlaysaa brother?
Si fiican.
Waniyo waxaan rabaa inaan anigu caawiyo inantii ilmaha yar xanuunsanaysa haysatay. Hadday maqlayso leenka ku jirto.
way ku jirtaa way saaranta.
Ha, walaal hadday maqlaysid marka hore waan ka xumahay walaal. Ilaahayna waxaan kaaga baryayaa insha Allah in Ilaahay ku caawiyo. waxaanu ku xidhannahay walaal dhakhaatiir fara badan community-ga oo muslimiina oo ku caawinaya insha allah biidnillaahi kariim marka haddii ay soo follow garayn kartid ayaan jeclaan lahaa si aan informationkooda kuu siiyo
abo Phoenix ma joogtaa
my Minneapolis
okay gabadha Phoenix waa caawin kartaa still but yeah iyada wuxuu baahan
but Phoenix I thought that inay tiri waxay degan yihiin Fargo may dhahdo Phoenix ay dhahdo
no walaal Phoenix baan joogaa wixii talaabo caadi waa
Phoenix Arizona sorry walaal dhakhaatiir ba muslimiina ayaa ku xiran community-geega marka waxaan moodayaa inaad Fargo joogtid so appointment baa kaaga qaban lahaa soo aragtid iyaga
maya wallaahi laakiin haddaan xaggan xalka waayo meeshaan ka helo dhaktar waan geynaya insha allah
sida abaya dhahda by Mayo Clinic way fiican tahay istibaalka waa istibaal weyn so hopefully haddaad caawis u baahan tahay sida oo aad appointment ooga suubsan kartid waxaas aniga abaya waa nala soo xiriiri kartaa
ay filo soo dhaha sharciyadeed uu maqnaa u malaynayaa yarka noqon kale waxaan ka hadlayay sharciyada dhiman laakiin caawa mawduuc kale ma ku jiraan
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, please go ahead. We can hear you.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. We appreciate how you support us. My question is, what's a good advice you give to somebody dealing with ADHD?
Good question. Great question. And this one comes close to my heart because I have ADHD too. But I kind of grew up in a small town when I was young, and a lot of people didn't believe in medicine. So I kind of struggled my whole life with ADHD and avoided medications. And it wasn't until I was about 45 years old, around there, that I actually went, I'd been in mental health even for a while and I hadn't even got it assessed like I should. But I'm going to tell you, the medications that if you truly have ADHD, I would go and get tested. And if you have it, medications make life so much better. It makes it better for your spouse. It makes it better for your colleagues. Your focus, your sleep becomes better. Everything is so much better. So I would definitely get assessed, and more than likely, if you do have it, you'll get treatment, and it's going to be a game changer. It's going to be a game changer.
Do you think it depends how some people weak, some people strong, some people they don't need medicine or something? Do you think it's something like that, or?
No, I think that's stereotypes that have historically gone on, that you're weak when you need medication, but really, all of us have strengths and weaknesses physically and mentally, and we have to do whatever we can to even those out so we can optimize our joy. It's not stronger, and it's actually somewhat damaging sometimes to yourself and your family. You're sometimes limiting your potential by not being willing to go and get assessed and get the medication you need to thrive rather than just survive.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor.
Yes. Thank you so much. Great question. Great question.
I have a follow-up question.
Can you hear me?
Yes, user.
Yeah, I heard that sometimes ADHD can be caused by vitamin B deficiency, and so taking rich vitamin B foods such as nutritional yeast and things like that can sometimes help for people that their ADHD is caused by that deficiency.
So I'll say two things. One, I'm going to say that I'm not going to say that it doesn't help. It may. Okay. But if it's true ADHD, you pretty much need medication to even it out. Now, some people get diagnosed with ADHD and they don't have to actually have it. And I have heard that vitamin B can help calm people down sometimes and help with attention and some of these things. So I'm not denying that vitamin B is not a good resource for sometimes when people have anxiety. So many times people will get diagnosed with ADHD and it's not truly ADHD, it's anxiety. And for kind of weaker cases of anxiety, vitamin B can be helpful at times on rare occasions. But like the ADHD is not cured by vitamin B. Like from any medical and this isn't medical advice. This is just from my experience and what I've learned. From practicing for 25 years.
Is there like an actual test to find out exactly if you have it or not, or what test would you recommend for people to get from their doctor so they can know for themselves?
Yeah, well, lots of like eye test. It is there is a kind of an extensive test and an assessment process that you go through to confirm whether someone has ADHD or not. There's no like blood test or anything like that, or really genetics test. But it is a verbal and there's written and verbal assessments that have to get done to determine it.
I think this depends on the person too, but with her, the comment, she said, can you ask if the medication for ADHD is long-term or something that is temporary? And what is the side effect of ADHD? I don't know if you want to kind of share the general information, but yeah.
Yeah, I can't give medical advice, of course. So this is just like knowledge for fun and entertainment. So I'm not recommending anything. And you hit it on the head. Every human being's chemistry is different. And so majority of people stay on it for a significant amount of time. Some people it's not forever. But that's a case by case scenario. And most times it is ADHD comes from a lot of factors. And most of the time there is like some brain structural and major chemistry imbalances. So most times it is something that you stay on for most of your life, most times. But everything is an isolated scenario and people's body chemistry can change, Also sometimes when you get on and certain diets or sleep gets better, focus gets better, maybe life conditions change where your focus is a little different and things aren't being strained as much. So there's lots of details that can go into it. So
someone is asking if you can tell them some of the symptoms of ADHD.
There's a lot, but most of the time it's hard, challenge sitting still, challenge focusing, challenging retaining information. Let's see. There's a lot.
This is the one I joke about for our Somali community. For our Somali community that we all deal with. Like how a lot of us can talk at the same time and talk about different topics. I always joke around this with my family. Like, I got an ADHD, it must be a genetic thing.
Well, I mean,
okay.
I have ADHD, so I'm kind of biased, but I think people with ADHD are brilliant. They just need a little help, and I feel the same about Somalis. Somalis are brilliant. They're funny. They think so fast. They talk so fast, and I do think there is a high number in the population that probably do have ADHD, and you know, it's so I would have to go. I would have to agree with you there. I think that there is a lot of people, but I think that's the one thing about, you know, that's interesting though. Once you get medicated with ADHD, what you can accomplish intellectually and educationally and even at work, it's mind-boggling how much more efficient you become, because yeah, you can balance many things, but imagine if you can take 2 or 3 of those and up them like, you know, 200%. Imagine how productive like you could be and the results you would get. And that's what I see happens when people get the right medication, if they truly have ADHD. 80% of Somali population. I don't know if that's the numbers, and this is for entertainment, but it could be close. It could be close.
I wanted to bring that joke because
You know
I
what
told-
they say?
yeah.
They say, "Oh, qofka ma fudfudud yahay." Like ma fudfududahay. Like it's like so normalized, basically.
It is normalized, yeah, for us.
Oh my God, it's funny.
But on a serious note, like to go back and just to kind of talk about, like, just for information purposes, you know, sometimes if you look and the trauma that a lot of people from the Somali community have been through over the years, or even their parents went through, can be passed down through chemistry, you know, so there may actually be something to that that reason. I also think that, like, I don't know, Somali community is amazing in regards to engagement and just kind of being high on life, you know what I mean? And I think that the more you subject your brain to that dopamine, the quicker it runs and the more likely you are to have it. That's not science. That's just me talking. But I do think there is a pretty significant number of untreated ADHD in the community.
I know some of the people that have been diagnosed and that are taking medication, most of them, they do take Adderall. And I've seen some people work for them, and then some people, it just makes them dead.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like their whole personality just out of the window. They're just like somebody else. So like, how do you find the right dosage for yourself? Because, you know, I mean, it's kind of risky just trying it, because you're like, how am I gonna feel? Or like, is this gonna have a good effect on my life or not?
I mean, so I'm just gonna be like this.
That, and
none
if
of this
there's
is
any other
advice or
medication
anything.
that
This is
people
just
can
me
look into.
sharing. Like, as a provider, I go very, very slow with prescribing any med. I look at every skill, I look at everything that's going on, and I think it's very important that people take it step by step and go very slow with low dosing and see the response. So if people are getting zonked, and that's the funny thing about ADHD is, like, so you actually take a stimulant, because with most people, a stimulant increases their energy and increases how they process. But if you truly have ADHD, it calms you down. Okay. It works opposite and helps you focus. So sometimes if that dosing is wrong, you're right, it can cause people to get zonked. Most times, though, one of two things happen. If someone's responding in a manner that they lose their personality, well, there can be 3 things. The dosing could be wrong. The diagnosis could be wrong. Or there's major trauma, and now that their brain is not functioning in a fight or flight manner, now that their brain is not functioning at all that high energy, now that it's evened out, that trauma might be coming up. And that's something different. Sometimes those things that have hurt people in the past and everything, part of the reason that personality comes out different maybe is unresolved hurt. and unresolved pain that they were able to hide when their brain was functioning at that wild level, if that makes any sense.
And I had this experience with family member where they're like, you know, oh, that person is, you know, they don't talk as much anymore, or they're not like talking to themselves, or like they're completely like, you know, like like they're completely changed, but it's like that's their baseline. You just not used to that, you know, like they're, like you said, they're that fight or flight. You're not used to what they were when their brain wasn't working as they should. Yeah.
No, beautiful. That's it. That's exactly what it is. Sometimes you almost become, it's the person who you are, though. Like, you know what I mean? It's who they were meant to be when their mind is running it's different, it's calmer, it's more reflective. And sometimes I think for parents and family members, they're like, they've become a different person. No, their brain is functioning as it should be. It wasn't healthy for them to be running at that high level that you were used to. Excellent approach and feedback there. Perfect.
This was great. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Doctor. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I
Is
appreciate
there
you.
any last word you want to say, you, Siham, everybody? I mean, we really had a lot of educational content. Thank you so much. We really appreciate
Idris,
that.
Siham, thank you so much. Idris, thank you, everybody. Masca, I can't remember what your first name is. I'm so sorry.
Naimo.
Naimo. I'm so sorry, but
No,
hey,
that's okay.
guys, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm honored, and I really appreciate this. Like this was great, and if you ever want me to come back, I would love to. Also, please follow me at Dean of Zen. Reach out if you're in Minnesota. I do telehealth appointments. I do evenings sometimes too, which a lot of people don't, just because I know people work sometimes during the day, and I want to reach out. And I also have a passion, you know, for helping the Somali community. Like, you know, they've brought me so much joy in my amazing wife and my amazing son and all my friends, and Siham and I have been friends for a long time, and you know, alhamdulillah, I thank Allah for my Somali family, and I thank you guys for having me on, and
Share with us the few Somali words that you know.
Well, you know, they're all dirty. Like, you know how, you know, the first thing Somalis teach you. I better not share those. We'll get us in trouble. No, I mean, I know
you can share like low key and the look, they say, you know.
So Wakachala High, Wamahasante High, Adan, of course, Adan. I always know Adan. When I'm walking places in Minnesota and I hear Adan, I always turn and say, you know, yeah.
Adan.
What? Theory. Like, you know.
Have you ever heard about this phrase, Adan Keskelali?
Is that you don't wash the photo?
It's
Is that where Adan don't wash the photo? Is that I know that one. I don't know the exact words, but I know that comes up all the time. That's the biggest thing.
Keep your eyes open.
Whenever Adan's being nasty, I know that the Somalis always they don't even wash their photo. Like
yeah.
No, say what is it? What is it?
It's just all humor and jokes, and just watch your surroundings, something like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. The one that I could never quite understand, that I think is unique to the Somalis, is the vulgar phrase about abo or hoyo. That they just naturally say all the time when they want to hit someone.
Yeah, that need to be canceled. We need to cancel that. Yeah. But no, it just means be more aware of Dhacday, you know? We like to be aware.
but wallahi, you know, I so appreciate this, and you know that it breaks my heart what's been going on, but Somalis are survivors and they're gonna come out on top. We're all gonna come out on top, you know, and most of my friends are Somali or East African and African, but like I you know, my Adan friends, I always say, like, you know, talk to each other, like, please. And that's one thing I see all the time, like, you know, go across the street and talk to each other, because once you interact with a Somali, you never go back. You know what I mean? Like, once you interact and you know, you see the joy and the love and the you know, even that's what, you know, caused me to revert. Like, you know, I say this a lot, that, you know, I grew up Christian, obviously, and everything, and I made some Somali friends, and the only place I really found Jesus's love was with Somalis. The only place I really found people that truly cared and truly, like, now I know they fight with each other a lot, but in regards to my walk, the hospitality, the love, the kindness that I was showed was what I was always told was supposed to be, you know, from Jesus and from Christianity. And when I really found what it was, you know, that was why I reverted. And you know, Siham has a lot to do with that. A lot of my friends do. But you know, thanks for having me on, and I just appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much.
Can I add something real quick to the people watching?
What's that?
Oh, no, I was gonna say that you know, it's good to do all those things professionally to seek help for your mental health. But the one thing that Islam has taught us is that in the mornings and evenings and when we go to sleep, we do have some kind of adhkar to protect and preserve our energy and our mental health. And those things are very important. And as Muslims, I know when we pray, we don't sit 5 minutes to read those, but I think it's going to change your whole life if you actually make it permanent. And it's like just reading, you know, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ Ayatul Kursi, Amin al-Rasul, every time in the morning when you pray, and then in the evening after Maghrib when you pray, or even Asr, and then when you go to sleep, you're basically your whole day you're protected from any kind of harm, physically, mentally, spiritually, you know. And so so never ever forget that, and make it your daily habit. Even try it for 30 minutes. I promise you, you're gonna see the change, honestly. It's like a huge difference, like day and night. And I'm telling you this as somebody who just started doing it this year. And you know, I'm so glad I was persistent in doing it every day. So just give it a try, inshallah.
Thank you so much. Inshallah, I will do it, inshallah.
And I think at the end of the day, I'll just end it on this. I think that it's important that we get the therapy that we need. I think it's important we get our chemistry evened out. But at the end of the day, our connection with God and our connection with each other is really what maximizes everything from a mental, emotional, and a community wellness aspect. So I think we just have to keep focusing on that and keep building that. So thank you so much, guys. Appreciate your time, and I definitely love to come back. So
Friday,
Destin,
mental
thank you
health.
so much. Destin, thank you so much for coming and spending some time with us and answering questions. I really appreciate you so much.
Bio, I appreciate you too. You know that. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Dustin.
Bye-bye.
Bring Hoda next time too. She's a Somali therapist. So
Yes. Hoda's awesome too. All right, take care, guys.
Thank you.
take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.